Alright, so I've been kind of having some thoughts about Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. So I love the movie, and I think it was really as good as it could have been, except for one little factor, and that was that no matter how much I love Godzilla, because Godzilla is my favorite kaiju, is my favorite monster of all time, and I truly do think he's the king of the monsters and deserved to win, there's no doubt that they underpowered Kong a little bit. I mean, Kong should have maybe had his lightning powers, maybe had been able to absorb radiation, or at the very least, in my opinion, been a little stronger. So I'm going to break down in this video why I think Kong needs something to kind of sort of counteract that, and why I think he needs to have armor. So let's get into the discussion. So before I do that, as always, if you're new here, be sure to like the video. That really helps out the YouTube algorithm. And subscribing for new content. I post all kinds of nerdy content all the time. And with all that being said, let's get into the discussion.
The Atomic Theory.
Okay, so like I was saying, I really loved Godzilla vs. Kong, and I really think that Adam Wingard did a really great job with it. However, I do think that he sort of underpowered Kong. Now, I sort of do have my issues with the movie and my little bit of flaws. I also kind of didn't like Mechagodzilla's design. I really thought the human story was really horrible, but I really, really loved the movie. But I just have these little issues, and one of the main big ones is Kong being so underpowered. Now, he did put up a good fight, and he was really strong in his own right. The fact that he's a monkey, I mean, if you compare a monkey to a human being, right? A gorilla is something like 20 times stronger than a human. I mean, Kong should have at least been able to pick Godzilla up and throw him over his head, right? He should have at least had a little bit more brute strength, maybe a little bit more endurance. But once Godzilla really got worked up, it seemed like he kind of took him out easily, and Kong really almost kind of seemed like he backed down. So what can he do to counteract that in the future of the Monsterverse, considering we now know this Kong's power scale, and we now know that he is significantly weaker in a way than Godzilla, even though he took out Mechagodzilla. That was in large part because Godzilla charged up the axe. Obviously, he could have his lightning powers, which would be really great and awesome, and I would love to see. Maybe he can develop them in the Hollow Earth. My other thought was that he would maybe absorb radiation. I was sort of thinking that going into the movie based on some of the toys that had been revealed and some of the leaks that had been talked about and stuff like that. I kind of thought that maybe Kong would have the ability to absorb radiation, I mean, causing him to grow larger and larger, and maybe sort of like the Hulk, get a little bit stronger, but that didn't end up happening either. So no lightning powers, no ability to absorb radiation. What can he do to really counteract Godzilla, or, you know, counteract other kaiju? Well, if you look back at Kong's ancestors, right, they built these axes. And you see in the movie that there's not just one axe, there's multiple axes. When Kong places the axe in the row of Godzilla spines, they all light up blue, and there is actually a lot of axes lined up there. So I'm thinking, okay, they're building weapons, right? They probably didn't just build an axe. Maybe they built even more weapons. And, you know, you get to thinking, what about armor? I mean, why wouldn't Kong's species have built armor that could have maybe absorbed or channeled some of Godzilla's atomic breath? I mean, Kong is almost like a humanoid titan. I mean, he's probably the most humanoid-esque titan that there is so far that I've seen. Kong being a monkey and being the smartest kaiju, I mean, I guess that's what he's gonna have to use to his playing field and use to his advantage, is the intelligence that he has, even over his brute strength. So I think in the future of the Monsterverse, if Kong were to have armor, I mean, if they were to have like a Son of Kong movie and have you know, Kong be shown in like the climax of the movie fighting in some sort of battle armor, I don't even know if I would be opposed to that at this point. I was really opposed to the idea of the axe when I heard about it. In about early 2020, I was reading leaks and reading that Kong was going to be having the axe, and I was a little bit hesitant on that, but when you end up seeing it in the movie, it's actually really good. So Kong having armor could be something that works out really good in the Monsterverse, but I want to know what you guys think. I know a lot of people would really be opposed to this idea in general, but I think Kong needs to use his intelligence to his advantage, and I think logically, if his species made axes to fight against Godzilla's species, then they definitely probably went a step further and made more weapons and definitely probably armor. So, but we will see. The future of the Monsterverse isn't speculation. I mean, other than one little sentence at the end of the Forbes article that said that there's a title being thrown around called Son of Kong, we really have no other information about what the future of the Monsterverse will be. but I am excited for it nonetheless. I want to know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts on my opinion down below, and comment your thoughts in general on Kong having armor, Kong being a little bit weaker than Godzilla, and Kong just taking that big L in the Hong Kong fight. What did you think? All your thoughts, comment down below, and as always, if you're new here, definitely like the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing as well. I post all kinds of nerdy content all the time, ranging from Godzilla to Star Wars, the Monsterverse, Marvel, DC. There's really just so much I'm passionate about. So with all that being said, until the next video, be safe and stay well, guys. Bye-bye.
I failed my mission and now I'm working with the enemy. And I can't even get that right. I have apparently